Yo, hey, what's up, Capricorn? Welcome to this timeless general tarot reading. So, some inside statistical baseball for you on YouTube analytics. Well, so despite the fact that there weren't that many views the last time on my Capricorn video, the few viewers that did happen to show up did in fact stick with the video for longer than any other sign. So take from that what you will. Capricorns seem to be willing to stick with the videos the longest, which I thought was pretty cute. I've heard that before from another tarot reader as well, and I now have my own validation for that, so I just wanted to throw that out there for you because I thought that was cute, and it kind of speaks to our character as Capricorns, I suppose, that we have that persistence to a certain extent. Excuse me. Alright, so if you are not familiar with my style of reading, excuse me, I'm not a fan of just taking cards off the top and laying them out. I would prefer that cards actually drop out or flip out like these cards did. In rare instances, if the card is exposing itself pretty hard, something like this, I'll take that card. Therefore, something that is happening in my readings is there are times where I have to shuffle quite a bit, and that leads me to stalling with my talking. So there's times where I'm just like stall talking. Due to that fact, I've added timestamps below for everywhere the cards drop, and if you are so inclined to do so, please click on one of those timestamps to skip to the part where the card actually drops. Otherwise, if you are just so entertained by what I have to say, you are more than welcome to stay here and listen to me talking. So this one's coming out a little bit. This is actually looking okay for the moment. There's an opportunity here for you to, whoops. Okay. Shuffle didn't stick there. So this is actually kind of interesting. There's some kind of news that you are not exactly fond of. Some kind of development that you are disappointed in. You maybe expected things to go differently. Perhaps you were under the impression things were going to go better. But for whatever reason, there is disappointing news on the horizon for you. And due to that fact, you are, whoops, dang. You are finding yourself in a situation where you have to take a step back and go within yourself. And you've got to retrospect upon your internal world as to why this happened or how you can move on from whatever this was. But your healthy ability to do this properly is going to play out in your favor at this point. You are going to integrate it optimistically within yourself. You are going to find internal strength to rise above the tribulation, whatever this was for you. And you are going to find it's going to work out in your favor. You're going to retrospect into a place of much better ability to, more specifically, you're not going to let whatever this is hold you down for very long. It might even play out in your favor in the long run, and you might even exceed beyond whatever this was. So to a slight extent, this is kind of one of those cliche, the universe took you down to bring you up even further kind of messages. Even though it's not always, like, the most fun, it is sort of what's playing out here for you. The Page of Swords, I'm trying to think of what the Page of Swords could be here for you. It's like, I'm not exactly sure here. Let me see if I can get any more clarity on this. Alright, Goddess, what kind of clarity do you have for me? How can you clarify this Page of Swords any further? Can you... Do you want to clarify the Page of Swords itself to some degree? I'm not quite sure where you're going with this. The first three cards make sense. You're gonna jump into... Whoa. I don't usually like to take 3 cards at once. I really prefer taking 2 at the most. And the first 3 cards are pretty straightforward here. You are dealing with some kind of disappointment, but your capacity to sort of introspect and really take a moment to reflect on the situation is going to allow you to move beyond the emotional turmoil from whatever this disappointing news is. And you're going to, if anything, it's not just that you're getting over it, it's that you're finding yourself in an even better position than if this wouldn't have happened to you. Which, that makes perfect sense for those first 3 cards. The thing that I'm kind of spacing out on here is what the Page of Swords is trying to say for you. You are, to a certain extent, it's almost as if you're leaving behind this quality and moving into this quality, perhaps. So maybe instead of sitting around in a more passive emotional state hoping for things to change around you, you are evolving into a more proactive actioneer of sorts, like, but it still feels a little out of place. I still feel like there's something else that needs to be said here, so I apologize that this is going to take me a second here to clarify. The message isn't done yet. I am pretty sure that there's something else that has to... Whoa. Sometimes when my shuffle sticks, that is a sign that I in fact do not need to shuffle anymore. So let me see if I can find anything else here. Because, whoa. Sometimes when I try to... You had a pretty fast start. And then now I'm getting held up on the shuffle. So I apologize for the timing here. If you need to skip ahead using the timestamp, please feel free to do so, because I'm not exactly sure what else needs to be said here, but I am not clear on the Page of Swords, which means that this reading is not over yet. And there's actually a lot of your energy that keeps trying to pop out on the splits and on the bottom of the deck, so something's trying to come out here for you. The Page of Swords could actually be, now that I'm thinking about it a little bit differently, it could be a new ally. It could be, you could actually be attracting, because of how radiant you've become with the Sun card after this introspection, and how you've kind of embraced this quality differently, you could actually be attracting a new ally into your life. An ally that is sharp-tongued, quick-witted, willing to speak the truth, willing to say it like it is, not beat around the bush. They are someone who is attracted to this new light that you have found. And the other thing is that the Four of Swords here is a sign of, even though you're mulling over your internal world, externally you are very stationary. You are, materially speaking, you're holding still in order to focus internally, as opposed to acting externally. So kind of part of what this is suggesting possibly is that you're getting over this inaction once you find your light again, and that's going to empower you to start taking action again. Is kind of a way to think about it. But I still don't feel like that's quite enough, so I'm going to look for some extra clarity on this Page of Swords for you. Even though I'm not really managing to find... Oops. So I don't really like these cards for this reading. They do not match the energy. Dang it, but they flew out for you. Okay, so this is really disappointing. Like, severely disappointing. So that was not the clarity I was looking for. The Six of Wands in reverse is returning. It's a sign of humiliation. You are returning humiliated in defeat. You have been defeated and you have to return home and proceed with shame through everybody who was relying on you. It's a very, very poor energy to be in, especially if you're competitive and your success matters to you. This is really crappy feeling. And on top of that, you have the Ten of Wands in reverse following it. So like, your defeat, whatever this defeat is keeping you from some kind of finish line. You have not managed to complete this Ten of Wands journey. You found yourself stalled from whatever this defeat is. And that sucks though, because you just attained this victory of retrospection. So you managed to pull up from this first defeat, whatever this bad news was. You internalized it and you faced it, and that led to you being able to find your light again. But then for some reason, this Page of Swords, this quick-witted, sharp-tongued, truthful... I'm actually really quickly, I'm going to double check my notes on the Page of Swords, because it is extremely out of... Well, this whole half is out of place here. These three make sense. Some kind of disappointment you manage to get over through your own retrospection, and you find your light again. That's like pretty straightforward. And you could even find an ally, but these have thrown off the reading. So give me one quick second here. I'm going to double check the Page of Swords. I have a pretty good understanding of the card, but so this is unfortunate, what this is signifying here. The Page of Swords, so the raw optimistic qualities is kind of what I was saying. It's like, it's the typical energies of the sword suits. It is the stuff I discussed. So it's like action through words. So that's where like quick wit comes into the picture. That's where like being inquisitive comes into the picture. It's using a mentalism, like effectively, accurately. It can signify judgment, accuracy of mental judgment, but part of the warning here is so it's just weird because this is in the upright energy. But unfortunately, sort of what this is suggesting is that it's... Man, I'm sorry that this is how this is playing out for you. It's sort of suggesting that like you're overconfident from pulling up here, that you embody this energy or you empower somebody with this energy, but they become overconfident almost. And overconfidence throws off the progress. Because their sharp tongue, for instance, if not, despite the fact it's an endearing quality that they can speak their mind, and despite the fact it's an endearing quality that they will like stand up for things, if they speak too soon, if they're too hasty in their comments, and if they're too rash in what they're saying, if they're too bold, too reckless with their words, it can, in fact, lead to a downfall. Because they haven't, like, they've hasted to their words. And it's just very strange because the Page of Swords is in the upright. So if the Page of Swords was in the reverse, that's typically a sign of gossip, of petty gossip, and of toxicity and nastiness, which is understandable that that energy would. And just for clarification, I am trying to get another card to clarify the Page of Swords further, but so I'm just letting you know that real quick as I'm shuffling here. That toxicity can lead to this, no problem, and ruin this. The problem is you have the Page of Swords in the upright, so it's like you're not, you or whomever this is not, they're not using their Page of Swords energy in a toxic fashion, but that goes forward to reinforce the idea just due to these clarifiers, and maybe if I can get another clarification for the Page of Swords, it does go to speak that you're overconfident to some degree, and because you're overconfident to some degree, you don't consider your words better. And because of that, you speak too soon, or you are not sensitive with your words. Not that you're trying to be toxic, not that you're trying to be insensitive, but you manage to you manage to err in your judgment of using that capacity, and that gets you defeated again for some reason, and it breaks your momentum to finish some kind of journey you're on, or to reach some kind of goal you're striving for, which is kind of disappointing because you already went through this retrospection and you achieved the light. So I don't understand exactly what you did. It almost points to the idea, and actually there you go, Devil on the bottom of the deck. It almost points to the idea that this is actually somebody else. and somebody else is inspired by you, perhaps, and that inspiration, while it's wholesome and true, it's a little bit unfounded, and that can lead this page to sort of go out on a limb, but they aren't. This isn't proving that they're going to do a good job of that. It's not reading out like they're going to succeed. It's basically just it's a sign of an honest mistake. An honest mistake with consequences is the best thing I can read from this, which is disappointing because you got to this. Like, this got you here, and then you managed to pull up pretty hard, but then you go right back down. So let me see here. Can I? Okay, so you got the Two of Cups clarifying the Page of Swords here. So that is clarifying to me that the page is somebody else, because the Two of Cups is signifying that it's some kind of partnership. So, like, off the top of my head, what's really coming to mind is that you've almost inspired this Page of Swords into a position of overconfidence. It's not that they're bad, like it's not that they're toxic, but they get like giddy from what they're seeing you do here, or something like that, and it leads them into a hasty decision, and that hasty decision has consequences. Maybe they jump to your defense in a debate or something, and they just, whatever point they take isn't the right point to take. And it's just weird because, like, whomever this is, you are like, you're not really at disruption with them. You have a good relationship with this person. So, man, this still feels a little off. Oops, let me double check this. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think this Page of Swords is you. I don't even think this Page of Cups is you. I think you is this. This and this are you. But you're finding yourself surrounded by, like, you're finding yourself maybe surrounded by people who are managing to let you down. Not in toxic ways. This is a little more toxic. This can be like a very bitter powder. Not powder, but pouting. And then this can be like as I'm describing, not toxic, but like their sharp tongue is not serving them in this instance. So I'm gonna see if I can get any clarifications on these on the Six of Wands in reverse, and any clarification on the Ten of Wands in reverse. So let's see, Spirit, can you, if you would please, would you help me to enlighten this Capricorn viewer as to what the heck is the deal here? Because how come their sun, yeah, it's like, it feels like, man, I just don't understand. Yeah, it's just bizarre for the sun to yield you a defeat. Usually if you can pull this energy in and channel this energy, you're going to achieve victory. But that speaks more to the idea that the defeat is on this page. Whatever this page, whatever the page delivers, the page is delivering the defeat for some reason. It's the page's actions. I don't really see it as your actions. But it is signifying that it is like somebody you're in union with to some degree. And it's not even a bad union. So that's what's kind of disappointing about this, is that this is a good relationship for you. And it just sucks because you've got to stomach whatever this defeat is. Unless you're going to take it out on the page. But I don't know if that's what you want to do, because this page maybe deserved it. Whatever this is. Although I don't know if this is a person. This could just be a situation. A disappointing situation. Something not going your way. And then you're coming into... You do your own internal work to get over that, to feel better. I mean, the most straightforward thing I've got here is that man, it's very strange. Despite the fact that you, like, take it upon yourself and that works for you, you're still running into another tribulation from it, despite it. It's almost like you're being called to bear even more burden with your light. Which is like not, and you've already borne burden. So, man, like, I don't know why it's got to be on your back. Which is why I'm trying to find some Six of Swords or some Six of Wands clarity here for you. Like, I'm trying to clarify if this victory is going to be all on the page, or if it is more to do with you. So I'm trying to get some clarity on that, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. Because, like, the saving grace is the fact that regardless of what happens, you and this page are going to stick together. Like, or you're gonna be, like, you have a strong dynamic here with this page. So that gives you an opportunity to stick with them through thick and thin. Which is a great opportunity to prove the strength of this relationship. So this card could almost double to this position, where so here's kind of a cute way to read it. Maybe you lost this page, or maybe this disappointment caused you to do this introspection, which gave you this strength, this light. So then to test and prove to yourself that you've got this going on, the universe sends you this page, this good page, and foibles them. But because you've found your light after this situation, you're not letting that page's defeat, and you're not letting the fact that that defeat stymies your process deter your relationship with the page. You actually come out of, it's almost like the universe is using this defeat to prove to the both of you how strong this relationship actually is. It's almost like it's almost like you are being forged an even greater bond with this Page of Swords by being there with the Page of Swords even when they fall. And that is one of the greatest ways to show somebody that you are there for them. Because maybe this page wasn't there for you when you failed. Or something like that. And maybe that was very disappointing. And maybe you, like, resolved to not do it like this. And then because you resolved to that effect, you then are getting tested on if that's just all talk or not. And these cards are proving that it's not just all talk. These cards are showing that you actually, that this was legitimate and authentic retrospection. And that this sun energy, this is you, this is your work, this is your internal effort. It's not just granted to you for nothing. You made this difference within yourself. And whether it's to show you how much light you actually have within you, to show you like what kind of internal strength you've grown, or maybe just to show the universe that you can hold this energy, you have this test showing up where you are being called to channel pretty solid forgiveness and to see what's good in someone even when they fall, even when maybe they even deter your process. Over like getting not making that material failure more important than like the actual relationship itself is going to forge a very powerful bond between the two of you. And that's actually, in a certain sense, priceless. It's kind of worth this defeat. If this page won, you two may never figure out that that your bond is strong enough to overcome this issue, like these kinds of issues. So it almost strikes me a little bit like a business partner. Like what's one example. It could also be maybe a relationship, but I mean, whatever it is, it's definitely a bond between you and this page, and this bond is forged even stronger because of a defeat that you suffer because of the page. So it's just like, it's just natural. Sometimes people are going to make mistakes, but those mistakes shouldn't blind you to what's good about them. Even if you lose something for it to some degree. Even if it's humiliating to some degree. The ability to forge this bond is very powerful. And it's a very powerful opportunity. So I actually don't think I have to clarify that anymore. There's actually a very beautiful ending to this, because a lot of bonds, especially if like you're a boss, are just material. You know, they go as far as the paycheck rolls in. Actually being there for somebody, like actually being, and I'm having trouble articulating it 110%, but like actually, when you can be there for somebody when they lose, and especially when they lose and it affects you, that just shows that you care about them more than necessarily like the results of their actions. So let me see if I can get any final clarity here. That's basically a positive note, and that clarifies it pretty good. That actually is very interesting. So yeah, it's it is interesting how the universe is throwing tribulation in your path to give you strength, but you've gotten that twice. You get these great things by, unfortunately, you've got to go through some crappy things. But that also speaks to your character. That speaks to your character to, like, find the good. It does speak to your character to rise above these disappointments, which is actually something that I've not been seeing in a lot of the other readings. A lot of the other readings have had people who are struggling with overcoming those negative momentums. So you've got it right now. It's too bad that the universe has to throw all the disappointment in your way. Like, I can sympathize with just, like, you know, can it just be good without the bad? Because some other people have that going on, like, so that is very interesting. All right, so I'm going to, let me see here. We're up to 36 minutes. Yep. That's usually what happens with me is I'm discovering is that there's like a slow start to the read, but then like once there's always like a key clarifier that just blows the whole thing out, and I wind up taking a lot of time to clarify. And I like that though. It gets to somewhere eventually. So the problem is that a lot of the people aren't watching the videos the whole time, so I don't know. I'm not sure yet if they're actually getting to the juicy parts of these readings, but you're in a very interesting position where the universe is going to give you tribulation because you have the strength to deal with it. So, maybe this is a little bit of clarity. Nine of Swords reversed. That's basically a sign of getting over anxiety. And then you got the Nine of Wands reversed, clarifying the Ten of Wands reversed. Which, this makes sense because whatever this page does to cause this defeat, they're gonna be worried about what you're gonna think about it, but you're gonna prove to them pretty quickly that this is more important, and that's actually going to help them get over the anxiety pretty quickly. So I guess this makes sense as a clarifier. Let me make sure this glare is not too bad. So this makes sense as a clarifier that you're going to be able to help them overcome their anxiety pretty simple. The Nine of Wands in the reverse can float a lot back and forth between like it can signify getting over the hurdle to get like it can kind of signify getting over this Ten of Wands reversed energy. But a lot of times it has to do with like being disappointed that you have to, and that mentalism keeping you stuck in this Ten of Wands energy. So at the end here, what it's kind of saying a little bit is that even though you are able to, on one hand, like get over the short-term defeat and quell the anxiety of the short-term defeat pretty easily, it's still kind of in the back of your mind that you are disappointed at being stuck here still. So I guess the best way I could read that is that, once again, like, the universe is giving you these things to give you these things. But you didn't get to this, and you didn't get to this by being at the finish line. If you had made it to the finish line already, you wouldn't have the opportunity to go through this and get this. You wouldn't have the opportunity to go through this and get this. So the best thing I can get from this is that try and whatever can get you over this defeat and whatever can help you quell this anxiety so easily, try to apply that to getting over the fact that you haven't succeeded yet. Because you don't want to actually get stuck in this energy of being annoyed that you're stuck, or not being annoyed that you're stuck, but being annoyed that you are, like, this is like when this card is in the reverse, it can signify that you are letting the excuses stall your progress. So as opposed to this with it, which is like a healthy retrospection, this is an unhealthy retrospection. This is you like making all the excuses, and not just making them, but you're empowering them. It's not just your mentalism, like your energy is also involved in this. You are unfortunately, like, and this is really cliche, but like the best way to describe it is like it's like an example of law of attraction. Because you are so focused on being stuck, you're stuck. And that's the opposite of this retrospection. This retrospection is finding your sun. So because of this, because you're healthily focusing your mentalism, the law of attraction is helping to give you the sun in this two of cups with this page of swords. But when you do it like this, the Nine of Pentacles, or the Nine of Wands in reverse, when you are focusing on, once again, it's like a card of pouting. You're pouting about the fact that you are stuck, and you're empowering all the excuses, and that's like a law of attraction form. And which is going to make it difficult to cross this finish line. And I don't think that's the goal of you and your page at all. So I think that is enough clarity for that. It's a warning to not fall into a sort of, like, you know, I can understand as a, like, if you're a boss or something, or if you're a manager or something, whomever their subordinate is, in the event that they make a mistake, on one hand you can of course forgive them, but on the other hand it's easy enough in the back of your mind to like be annoyed that you now have more work to do. But you've shown in so many other places in this reading that you don't have to get stuck being annoyed like that. you actually have the capacity within you to not get stuck here. So that's a big part of what this is suggesting. It's really more of a warning. Like it's really just trying to make sure that you stick to your optimism. Is probably the best way I can read it. There might be a few other ways to read it where you could say that, like, it's just a sign that the price of getting to this is that you're going to have a couple more hurdles to go. So don't be surprised if you get, don't be surprised if you've got to do more as a result, because, you know, if the page messes up, there's going to be more work to do for that. You're going to have to compensate for that defeat or for that failure, whatever it is. But you have the opportunity to focus on this and this. So that's the best thing I would say, is that it's a warning. One potential pitfall for you to hang up your mentalism. So just be wary for that. Don't let that uncharacteristic energy defy your ability to experience this. Because if you can get here, you'll have a great ally to help you get over these finish lines. Right? I think I'm going to call it there. That is, I feel like I really drove, I kind of kept on keeping on that point there. It was interesting clarification, though. So I appreciate that you were here to have this read. I will not deny that it is annoying in my own Capricorn heart that, like, I have to keep being thrown obstacles to, like, empower myself. But so it is. So, all right, Capricorn, I'm going to call it there. Thank you for being here for this reading. I appreciate you for watching this, and good luck. You have a very interesting, you have the potential to really get something really cool here. So I really hope that you can find that, and I will be proud of you for doing so. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching this, and oh, you know what? I just realized my freaking camera froze at some point, so I'm sorry that I just realized that. At some point my camera froze, and I wasn't able to catch that. So I'm going to cut the video here, and I'll let you go for now, so thanks.